Back to NFT Traders Club. I'm OX Kennedy, of course, and it's my co-host Chris Coffee.eth. What's up, Chris? How you doing today?
I'm good, man. Feeling good. I don't have to have my loud AC on right now. Usually I have to like
It's
filter that
cold, bro.
out
I got the
because
hoodie on. It's
yeah,
cold now, man.
it got cooler today. It got cooler. It feels
Oh, cool.
amazing where I live.
Amazing. Oh, it's getting cold. It's
Amazing.
getting a little too chilly, bro. Like that. I have to wear hoodies now. I'm gonna bring back the balaclava I used to wear. But before I talk about that, welcome back. This is the NFT Traders Club, brought to you by Ninjalerts. Of course, Ninjalerts is a phone and web app. You get a notification to your phone whenever your favorite friend, influencer, or well mints buys or sells an NFT. Make sure to visit ninjalerts.com/giveaway for your chance to win a 6-month subscription to Ninja Alerts. And Chris, of course, I got some good news for you, Chris. Guess who's currently in the lead in the
What?
smoothie? Yes, we're number
What?
one right now, bro. If you're watching this, make sure to go vote for this. All you have to do is connect your wallet and give us a little bit of an upvote, which is pretty cool. Ninja Alerts is number one. We're
I
currently
got
number
a
one. We got 3 days left.
I got a confession, Ken.
Wait,
About this.
another confession. You've been having
Uh,
confessions every day, bro.
so I registered my smoothie account as Gutter. I don't know why. It just felt
That's why I couldn't get it.
it just felt right. It just
That's
felt right
why
at
I
the
couldn't
time.
get it.
Yeah, man. So
Yo, really? Because I signed up to like this morning actually, like at 5 a.m. to
yeah.
upvote it, and they said I couldn't use gutter.
Yeah, it just felt right, man. I don't know why,
It felt right,
but
huh?
I
Uh,
almost left a comment too, but I was like, "Oh, it'd be too much." I'm not the
yeah,
Ninja
I
Alert.
was gonna scroll down through all those comments, bro. But
But
yeah,
yeah, man.
just make sure to the web address is on the screen, smoothie.so. Just go on there and upvote us real quick. Thank you so much for. We're number one, bro. We're no with a good lead
Yep.
over number two, man. Just had to highlight that real quick, and of course. Today we do have our special guests. We have a few special guests for WGMI. We're gonna bring them out in a second. But Chris, how do you feel about these $1 million sales for the punks, bro?
Oh,
Do you remember those
insane,
days?
man. Yeah. So yesterday at around like 9 p.m., the OpenSea volume was around like 7.3 million, and out of that 7.3 million, like over half that volume was from punks alone. Like one punk sale actually was like 4 million. I forgot the other one, but yeah. So like it's just insane like how big those sales were, and that's right after we saw the QQL mint passes sell out for 14 ETH, raising like 16 to 16.5 million dollars in funds. Like that's just nuts, dude.
Yeah,
But
it's crazy how.
NFTs are dead though, you know.
Of course, man. I remember when we were getting these $1 million hits on punks like almost every other day, like a year ago. Like it was a mid of the bull. Like, do you think it's a good sign? Like the bull is on his way back. If somebody's gonna spend $4 million, four, cuatro.
Bro, you know, I don't know if it was that punk sale or another one yesterday, but you know, one of the sales, the guy bought his ETH. I don't remember the exact date, but I think it was in 2017. And his wallet has been dormant ever since, and he just spent it. And he got it for
Hmm.
around $200 per ETH, and never really used that wallet, and decided to buy a punk yesterday.
That's gonna be you when Hex time comes, right? In 14
That'd be
years.
me. Yeah, that'd be me when Hex and a couple of other coins go to the moon. You know, I'll just be like, haven't touched this in a while. Might as well just degen into something
Yeah,
expensive.
yeah. Good luck with that, bro. When it turns to dust, infinite dust in 14 years, bro. But hey, you got it locked up. Nice, good job, Chris. You know you're a smart trader, bro.
Oh, I know this. I made some ETH this week. But another thing before we bring up our guest too is what is say the 29th. So next
Yes.
our show, being as we don't run the show on weekends, our show Monday will actually be giving out one of the Ninja Alerts 6-month free trials for one of our YouTube subscribers. All you have to do is go to that link that Ken just shared, ninjalerts.com/giveaway. It's a $450 value. It allows you to track as many wallets as you want, anything you want to do on Ninja Alerts for 6 months. All you have to do is just be subscribed to the YouTube channel and go to that link. So that's pretty exciting. And this will be our first one doing it on live. So we'll have fun picking.
Yeah, that should be cool. And you have like pretty much one more day or so to hop in, so you could get on the drawing for this month. We will run another one for next month, but right now your odds are fairly high. So go, that's 6 months subscription right there, and we already burnt the rest of the supplies. So the only way to get it is either in secondary or to get a subscription. Okay.
Yep.
Are you ready to bring them up?
I'm
We
ready to bring
have
them
some
up.
cool
Let's
guests
get
coming
them.
through.
Yeah.
Some cool guests we've had before. Welcome, NFT Thomas or NFT Tomo and Roy, right?
Right,
RCVIV.
right.
Ray. I'm sorry. Just
Oh, you're
one
all
word,
good.
one
You're all
letter
good.
off.
You
Just
can't see
I
it
one.
get
here.
it all
This
the time.
You're close.
the C and the I make an A, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on. You guys need your round of applause, man. Welcome. We can't miss that. We can't miss the round of applause. Did we have this when you was on, Tom, last time?
I don't
We
think
didn't
so.
have sound
This
effects.
is new. I love it.
Yeah, you was kind of like one of our first guests on here, man. Hold on. We also we also got an air horn for you as well, man. Welcome back, bro.
Thanks for having us on. Really excited to be here. I mean, love chatting with you guys a few months ago. I mean, it was back in February. So
February,
crazy,
it was
yeah.
crazy how much time's gone past. But
Things
yeah,
were better back then.
definitely better. Let's go back to that time.
Yeah, we're on our way, man. You saw the punk purchase? Yeah,
Yeah.
we're almost there, bro. Like I don't
Yep.
know why somebody would spend that much on the punk now when they could just the apes kind of, kind of own the punk. So
That's a
that
nice punk though. It's one of the better ones.
the hoodie
I think it
one?
may be the best. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the
Really?
aliens. Yeah,
You said that hoodie one's the best?
I love
Really?
that one. Super clean. Yeah,
Oh
Yeah,
wow,
it's a nice
okay.
punk.
It is nice with the.
Yeah.
I just like the hoodie. I got a
Yeah.
hoodie too. You feel me?
Yeah.
But other than that, it's just a regular punk to me, bro. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I mean it's
Yeah.
an ape too. Like one of 20 some apes. So there's not a ton.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's
Yeah,
why.
Yeah.
yep.
That's why you barely see it with the hoodie on. But let's get started with this RCIV, man. We know a lot about Tom. We just tell us how you got into NFTs.
Yeah, absolutely. So Tom kind of pulled me in. I've known Tom for a decent amount now, going back to college days. And Top Shot came out beginning of 2021. I jumped in there a bit with him, a bit behind him, seeing like all the gains he was making there. I pretty much bought the top of Top Shot.
Oh
Have a
no.
bunch of those laying around.
Oh
Kind
man.
of got spurned. And he's like sending me all these pictures of monkeys and stuff. I'm like, what's going on here? I'm not getting involved. I just got burned on Top Shot. Follow you. I'm not following you again. Huge mistake in retrospect. Kind of sat it out until about a year ago. I've probably been in the Ethereum NFT space for about a year now. Right before I jumped into DraftKings, they had the autograph NFTs over there. I was doing some flipping, buying like rare serial numbers, reselling, made a decent bit there, and rolled that profit into ETH NFTs. So I've been investing in the space, for about a year now. I joined WGMI part time in January, helping manage the Discord, doing some different ancillary bots. Joined in a more of a full-time capacity in May, doing some product development with Tom, helping them flesh out some of our features, helping work through the newsfeed feature that we're going to be talking about a bit today, and currently dealing with managing the newsfeed and partnerships for WGMI. So if you're interested in talking to us, feel free to hit me up in the DM. Be more than willing to talk and work together.
Oh, yes, most definitely. So Tom, tell us what has changed since you've been the last time you was here. Because I see it's WGMI is on my timeline every day now. Like this is a bunch of stuff going on over there.
Yeah. I mean, we've did some hiring over the past few months. So, like Ray said, brought him on board. He's been a huge help. And brought someone on to handle posting on our socials. So really just trying to establish a bit more of a presence, more awareness, and do a little bit more marketing across our various socials. So it's good to see you guys are seeing those tweets and seeing our name and seeing kind of what we're doing all over the place. So sounds like that's working. And then we also brought in director of strategy and operations, who's really helped us build out. He kind of brought the idea of the news feed to us, and that's been something we've really been focusing on here over the past few months. Putting a plan in place around that product, hiring some of the best contributors and curators across the various ecosystems we're reporting, and continuing to add new features and functionality to the tool, to continue to just provide more value to our users. So that's definitely been our focus over the past few months. Continuing to try to keep our heads down and try to continue building and keep delivering as much value and utility as we can from the website.
Do you guys have an example of the newsfeed that you're sharing or that you're talking about, like on hand, that you could share with us?
Yeah, I'll share my screen right now.
Cool.
Just having a bit of an issue sharing this before. I don't know if you can see it now.
Yeah, we can bring it up.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, yeah. So I can't see it on your screen, but as long as you can see it on the broadcast. So this is the newsfeed right now. We launched this about 2 weeks ago. It's sort of our beta offering MVP. It's basically what it's doing here is serving all of the news for your holdings that we cover. So we have, our deeply curated ecosystems where we have brought on, some of the best holders, collectors who are deep inside in the trenches, providing you what you need to know as a holder. And we also have a team of analysts who's providing a wide range of news across all coverage of NFT projects. So you'll see a combination of both here, along with who's contributing that information. So scrolling down this list, you can see we have a number of just basic news items. We have some claims, allow lists, raffles from different discords, making sure that if you're holding these projects, you're gaining the most value out of your assets. You're not missing allow lists, you're not missing claims, airdrops. In addition to that, we're providing, some alpha. We've had a number of our curators come on our streams. They provide weekly breakdowns, and a lot of that alpha has been like really fire. We had our Azuki curator ONG jumping on, calling beans and Azuki before that went nuts. We've seen a ton of value from these people who are super plugged. Right now, I'm scrolling down the timeline of basically all of our news. So this is basically what I filter by every day. I'm like a power consumer. I want to see everything that's out there for all projects. So I go down this list. We also have the ability for you to filter it by just collections you own or are watching. We're having some additional functionality that Tom's just finishing up the development work on, which will let you like pick and choose which products to jump into, what projects to follow.
Dude, this is so good. So good.
All of these are filtered on, global or per project filters as well. So you can filter like, oh, I only want to see like raffle opportunities across all news. Or you could say, hey,
really? You could do that?
Yeah. So I can look right through that list, see all the raffles that are potentially being offered across all projects, airdrops, claims. You can also, when you're not using the global filter option, you can dig into individual projects and filter on a per project basis. Where you can say, oh, I just want to see, I don't want to see Deadfellas news, or I don't want to see claims or airdrops. So you can filter on each of these tags per project. So you can really curate the view you want to see on the news feed.
Nice.
So what type of projects will we see on there? Like
all of them.
Will it be all of them? Because like I have some projects that like obviously like aren't as big.
Oh, not the scam one, Chris.
No, I mean I meant legit projects, but like you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I think everyone has, those top tier projects, and then they have a portfolio of other assets that they may not pay attention to. And we're constantly expanding them from an analyst point of view, where we're providing, that breadth of knowledge, where we are scraping some different feeds and et cetera to get inbound news. And then we have our analysts curate that, go through that, figure out what really matters. We're not just serving up anything they're posting, but we're looking through and really finding the valuable information. So I think we have somewhere in the realm of 100-ish projects in our system. 10 or so are deeply curated. And the ones that aren't deeply curated, we are still, pulling information from Discord, pulling information from Twitter, and having that feed curated and provided. So you are still getting value outside of our deeply curated ecosystems, which is nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
I heard you guys expanding.
So I'd love to hear projects that you don't see on our newsfeed. Like, just let us know. And it's not tough to add these, smaller projects. And we're always looking for feedback because, we do have users who have, wide array of holdings. We do look at that information, but we definitely want as much feedback and as much input as possible.
Yeah, so you guys, the curators, I see, is Stony Phantom one of your curators for the Gutter Cats or Stony.eth?
He was originally. He was kind of tied up with the launch and going over to Gutter Con. So we've kind of been a bit like touch and go there. So we're hoping to bring him back for October. to start really firing it up on Gutter Cats. Just kind of waiting to get all that finalized, talk to him a bit more. But I know he's been on a couple of our spaces. He's talked a bit about, the Gutter Cat ecosystem, talked a bit about, all the things that are going on there for him. And it's kind of tough for him. He's in a really tough position because I'm sure he's getting hounded for all this information because, he's
he
deeply
is.
entrenched there and he can only talk about so much. So it's kind of a tough spot for him in general. I know he's been pretty stressed lately.
Yeah, man. The gutter cat team don't let go of anything, bro. Like as a holder for a long time, they just make everything cryptic, and we just left guessing for most of the time. But I did notice this because I've been using since Tom, you blessed us last time you was here. I've been using WGMI since then. I use this quite frequently, and I did notice when this red bubble started popping up. Now, I didn't know you could do all these filter stuff. I didn't know there was a whole nother tab. All I knew is that I saw some red bubbles around a couple of my collections, and I started looking into them, and it's pretty damn cool, man. It puts it all in one place. I especially like WGMI because there's a lot of stuff that I miss. Like I can't follow all these discords. Like I can't keep up with all these projects I'm invested in. But just putting up the portfolio and looking through it, seeing when there's a volume going on in that day, so I could trade out of some things in my hidden folder. It's a tab that's always up for me. It's up for me right now. But the little red bubbles is cool when I saw it. Like I saw you guys are doing something new. It's pretty dope. Like tell us more about the mechanics of this news feed. Is this a different collection that you guys were proposing, or it's all tied up into the same thing?
Yeah, I mean, so about the bubbles, I mean that was great idea that Ray and others on the team had just to draw awareness to the news feed. Because it's if you're using the site every day, sometimes you might not notice a new button, a new tab, something new that we've added. I think we want to get a little bit better when we are pushing new features, right on the site, maybe having a dialogue that explains what might be new since the last time you visited. But, being able to see those bubbles, click into them to see, there's news, there's information about these projects. Let me click over to the news feed and see how that works. But, regarding access to the news feed, so we did launch a beta pass mint a few weeks back. So I think it was back on September 8th. And, pretty much anyone who previously had access to the tool now has access to newsfeed, whether you owned our OG NFT or you subscribe to our Premium Plus offering. But anybody else who was interested in gaining access to the tool and all of its features, including newsfeed, has the ability to mint the NFT, which is currently for sale and currently minting from WGMI.io. You'll see a mint button in the top right of the screen there. And that beta pass essentially provides access to the site throughout the end of 2022. So that's a way right now for anyone who doesn't have our NFT, or who wants to have access to all of the tools and all of the features, including newsfeed that the site has to offer. The only way to get access to those right now is by minting that beta pass. But we do have the OG NFT is still available and still for sale, but at the moment that only provides access to the portfolio tools and doesn't provide access to the newsfeed or to any of the other Premium Plus features that we've added over the past few months.
Oh, cool.
And
since we go ahead.
Kennedy, I was going to jump in. I know you're talking about the activity feed, and this is like such a slept on tab. I even sleep on it. Like I always forget to bring it up, but every time I look at this tab, I'm like, oh, like something I own's moving. Let me jump in, or why is that moving? Definitely a big one there that I need to use more often personally.
Yeah, I generally filter by daily volume. When I see something that has been dead for 6 months start having some volume, I'm gonna sell that. I'm gonna sell it right out of there. That's why I use it every day. WGMI, I use it every single day for that, just to get rid of all the crap in my hidden. Randomly,
looks like
some
Ranga's
things
on
just
the move there. You see that? Rangas seem to be flying over the past few minutes. But yeah, Kenny, just real quick. I mean, that's what what you're saying is definitely what we're hoping to provide. Being able to see that volume, but then also being able to click into the newsfeed. Why is that volume happening? Why are there a lot of sales? What's going into that? Is there any news or information that I might have missed that can help? Sometimes there's volume in you might not want to sell into it. Other times, depending on what the news is, yeah, it's definitely an opportunity to try to exit some of those projects. So trying to take the quantitative analysis that exists from the news, the data, the portfolio site, and combine it with that qualitative that we built in with the news feed to really make the kind of best and most informed decisions you can around your portfolio and holdings.
Nice. You guys got
Yeah,
charts and graphs. I never seen this one.
Yeah, this is
What
another
was
new
this?
Tom pushed out. It's the custom chart creator, where you can plot multiple collections against each other over different dates. You can plot floor listings, all that information to create your own like kind of custom chart. You can separate them out per scale too to see how they run, if they're on different scales, if they're running together for different assets that may be related, or there may be a gap that you could say, hey, like the black boxes for Renga are a lot cheaper in comparison to the actual the revealed ones. You can make some plays there. Definitely a cool tool that we enjoy playing with internally, and we hope to bring more awareness to our users as well. It's definitely a lot of fun to play with. I'd recommend checking it out. And if you do create some of these interesting charts, you can also save them and access them at later times too.
Oh wow, this thing is getting smarter.
Ken, we can do this on our show. Have a little competition. You be the green line, I be the blue line, and see how we do.
You don't want that, Chris.
Who would win? Who's going to win there between you guys?
Yeah, I would, of course. He's on different networks that you guys probably never heard of, bro. Like he's on the Palm Network, the Hemp Network, the CRV Network. Like he's on some strange networks, man.
You do any Tezos?
No, of course he does Tezos.
I was hoping not. I don't find many other Tezos fans. I enjoy some of the art over there.
Nah, Chris is a Cardano maxi.
So Chris always looking for the next big thing. It sounds like.
I am.
Yeah.
He's just trying to be early.
I do a lot of trading on ETH, though. I mean, that's where a majority of my trading is.
Yeah, I just like giving him a hard time because he likes to experiment. Like he likes to go into those risky chains that just just showed up, and Chris is already in it. The Hex Network, the Palm Network. Those are real networks, by the way.
I feel like I need to hit up Chris after and jump on some of these.
Yeah, get into the new networks, new chains.
Yeah, so this is looking real cool. So I did hear we do have a partnership with WGMI and Ninjalerts for anybody that owns Ninjalerts could try this news feed out for 2 weeks, right? 14 days.
Yes, sir. So as soon as I'm going to take a snapshot of holders. After you get on this call, I'll be working on getting that done. I'll shoot that information over. You guys can make an announcement in the Discord, and we'll have you guys allow listed for 2 weeks on the project. You get full access, all tooling, news feed, portfolio data, charts, everything you've seen here. And we want to thank you guys for offering, the same discount or the same trial over to our users as well. It's a nice partnership. I think the two tools that we have here really mesh together very well.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I use Ninjalerts now. I had it before. I jumped in on a trial to jump back in, see what you guys have been doing. And, it's so useful just to get those alerts, see where the big money is moving, follow the wallets that have been profitable, and just really jump in and potentially, turn around a bit of a profit.
Yeah,
Ken and I side from Ninjalerts, you get the sell side from WGMI.
Heck yeah, man. Ken and I kind of slept on it yesterday, but we saw some notable people going in on that gaming NFT yesterday that was popping at like 0.1. I think the mint was free, but they're going in at 0.1, and we didn't really do much. But Azra, but it closed the night at like 0.34. I don't even know what it's at right now, but that'd have been a good little
0.4 ish.
Yeah, exactly. That'd have been a good 3 to 4x just off of us tracking some notable traders on that. We need to get Ray, we need to get yours and Tomo's wallets and maybe collab our shows one day and just talk about some of the trades that we're making. That'd be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a bit of a bloodbath lately for me, to be honest. I've made a few good trades, but it's been mostly bad. So I've been trying to lay off a bit, look for sure things. I wish I had more liquid ETH yesterday for that QQL drop. Once that dropped under 20,
that's for the whales only, bro. it's jumping too. It's at 22 ETH now.
Yeah, I mean, talking about whales, we got Tom up here with all these moonbirds, and he loves
right?
the Fidenzas, loves Tyler Hobbs. Didn't jump in. What went on there?
Yeah, I mean, we were we were doing a live stream while it was minting. It was just in a rough spot lately. It's like just trying to stay on the sidelines and just trying to see how the market's going to be moving. And I've definitely, I wish I did deploy some and buy a few. Yeah, it looks like 22.2 floor now. It does look like they possibly changed their slug over there on OpenSea, but I see Kevin Rose bought one an hour ago. I know Maki Big Brother, the big Yuga Labs, Bored Ape Whale. I know he bought a bunch yesterday after the mint. I saw he bought a bunch more today. I'm not sure how many he's up to. He might be around 30 of those right now. So yeah, I mean, I minted a Fidenza. I bought a few Fidenzas on secondary. So, way back when last year, and, and obviously in hindsight, looking back at yesterday and looking where the floor is today, definitely wish I jumped in at that 14 ETH price that it sold out at. But I guess missed out on that one, but there's been a lot of other ones too where I either did jump in or I could have jumped in and would have been an L. So, just trying to limit those L's, which I guess is also potentially limiting upside as well. But just trying to stay liquid and conserve as much as I can, and just in case things keep trending in the wrong direction, it'd be nice to to have that liquidity to deploy. If things continue to get worse, but I hope that's not the case.
How are you preparing for? How have you been going through the bear market? Like both of you guys, like what has been your plan? Have you been like just staying away from making trades, or you just not going in as hard as you used to, like in the moonbirds and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I obviously went very hard into moonbirds, and that's something I'm, personally for my collection. I mean, looking at projects that I bought into either last year or early this year that just might not make it, or I'm maybe not that much of a believer in where they're going, the direction they're heading, or some of the news that I've seen around those projects. So potentially taking an exit there, whether it be for a loss or not. Just trying to build that ETH stack as much as possible. A newer feature that we added on the site as well is a long-term capital gains toggle or filter there.
Cool.
So it's nice really to be able to fit. Yeah. Yep. It's definitely nice to be able to toggle and filter down what are any assets or what are any projects that you've owned, over, I guess, or greater than or equal to 366 days, which you could potentially get out of, for less of a tax liability there. So that's been something I've looked into. So it looks like Ray just pulled up that column. So by default, we kind of show you, however many assets you own within that project have achieved long-term, have reached that long-term capital gain point that you've held for, over a year. And then there's a toggle at the top of the screen where you can filter only by, projects that have, that have hit that threshold. So that's definitely a nice filter to be able to go through and say, okay, I've owned this for over a year. I could potentially sell it now if I'm in the green and take less of a tax hit there. And I'm definitely looking at some other projects where, maybe I jumped in and I didn't do
some
well from yeah, right. Look at that. But projects possibly where I jumped in where I'm in the green ETH, but in the red USD, maybe taking a tax loss there to take an ETH gain and, just continue stacking that ETH bag. I mean, that's how I've been approaching the past few weeks, past few months. I mean, it feels like past few years, with the way everything has gone here. But yeah, it's that's my approach right now. And like I said, with the QQL mint and some of these others, really, missing out on some of those opportunities, I think, but just trying to play it a little bit safer than I have in the past with assets. And just I feel like I'm already overly invested in NFTs and in ETH to begin with, so probably makes sense to use some caution at this stage. If things go up and things do well, it's a missed opportunity. If things continue to go down, then it's a better buy opportunity there. So it's, that's kind of how I'm looking at it and approaching it right now. I don't know about you, Ray, if you have any other secret strategies you've been deploying.
I've been looking for, I've increased my threshold for what I'm jumping into. November, December, January of last year, I was jumping into anything and everything. I think there was a weekend in early January where there were like 10 free mints I jumped into, or like 10 cheap mints, and every one of them was like flipping for a profit. And all it took was just anything that looked halfway decent was the filter. Now the filter is a lot more stringent. There needs to be, at least some sort of, VC fund, long-term plan, polish around the team. I'm not doing as much of the, aping in after people, following the wallets as much. I am, tracking a select few wallets that, I think are very profitable and try to trade them. But I'm doing, a lot less trading in general. And I'm trying to, follow more of a kind of investment thesis of holding equal assets, USDC, ETH, and NFTs, trying to get them to a third, and a third, where I can, rebalance every once in a while. If my NFT bag runs, I can trim a bit off into ETH. If ETH runs, I can, sell a bit off into USDC and vice versa for all of that, just to try to stay nimble and try to, limit downside. I won't be capturing as much upside, but I should, in theory, limit potential risk by doing that. So I've been working towards, that 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 over the last month or so.
Yeah. Would you be able to tell us the wallets you do follow?
I can send you them afterwards.
Ah,
I can shoot you
smart
them
man.
afterwards. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, for sure. And I gotta see what you guys follow as well, and what you're looking for in your trades.
I mean, we basically follow the people we have on the show. Like, we generally have the top traders on this show most of the time, like the top 1,000 traders that show up on Ninjalerts and trending. Anyways, we pick their brain about their strategies, and if it aligns with ours, we generally follow them. Like JJ is one of the one we follow. Dizzy, Isis J, Griff we follow, but he makes a lot of plays, so that's a lot of pings from Griff. Grape Dutch also makes a lot of plays. There's a lot of quite a few people. Jake and Big, Mitch. There's a lot of people who follow, but some of them just makes a lot of DJ moves, like Sneaky Ninja Pins. As you know, he buys and sells almost every minute of the day. So yeah, we try to get a good round number. Like we try to filter it down from less DGen plays sometimes. Not maybe remove the alerts for sneaky or grifting, because your phone will be going off every single minute if you follow those guys, because they're always going off.
Yeah.
But
I said I did follow Sneaky into I don't know if you guys are familiar with that raft project that he aped into. He was calling that out in his Discord. That was a nice little
everything,
bro. But he does have his moments. I like following Sneaky, even if it is a lot of volume. At least gives me like an idea of like, hey, if I have time, maybe I'll look into this project. It almost like gives you a list of anything worthwhile to even just like take a peek at.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Do you guys see a current meta right now in the NFT space?
I think we're just getting out of that like VC funded gaming meta.
You said?
I mean, I think we've hit the top, maybe. I know that Digidaiaku has been successful and trending, but it seems like I mean the airdrops can only go so far, right? Like I think we've almost peaked there on that original collection. It seems like it's airdrop after airdrop. They are doing a great job marketing, but can that hype continue? What is the end goal? Is it just Russian nesting dolls all the way down until they go to nothing?
Yeah. That's what we call a Ponzu, bro.
Now, speaking about the all-time Ponzi, the Wolf game, that looks like that's coming up. We might see that in a couple months.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see if that's actually, that's supposed to be released here over the next few months. They said hopefully by the end of the year, but it's crazy. That's been around for a year at this point. I mean, I forget exactly when it minted out, but yeah, they've gone the whole year and tried to still keep interest in it. It's crazy to see, some of the floor prices still stay pretty strong out there. But it has been, it's been crazy. It's been kind of sitting on the sidelines and waiting for something to happen, with that game. It does sound like, the storytelling meta, that was something that, we've seen pop up.
That wasn't a real thing, bro.
Yeah. I don't think
that was a reach.
Yeah. I don't think that's gonna, not much happened in there, but yeah, I'm not sure what else, what else might be out there right now, but
the Azure game that dropped yesterday is not actually coming out until 2024, and so I mean it's at a 0.4 price right now. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's wild, man.
Yeah, I mean it takes a lot to make a game, right? I mean there's so much that goes into it. the story, the graphics, you know, and it's like, is it actually going to be fun to play? You know, it is tricky, you know, and I think buying anything with a promise of a game, you know, in a year's time is, you know, unless they've been developing it for a while, I think it's, you know, you're going to be sitting on that. And it's kind of one of those things, even with some of these projects talking about TV shows, you know, or anything else, like, you know, you don't even realize, I mean, I'm sure most don't realize, and, you know, what goes into all of that, you know, and how many people need to, when you watch a movie or a show, there's a reason why there's credits
Hundreds.
scrolling, you know, for like 5,
Yeah.
10 minutes, like even a game now, it's just scroll, because there's so many people, there's so much work that's involved that goes into all of that. So, yeah, I mean, it's tough to be buying in now, although sometimes like they need the funding to maybe do the hiring, bring all those people in to actually build, you know, their vision out. But it's, you know, we know how people are in the space. Not many of us have much patience, or, you know, are thinking in that longer term time horizon. So you might see some of these with a short term pump, but you know, once things go sideways, and, you know, even if the teams are building and, you know, things are coming along nicely, you know, if updates aren't provided, or, you know, there's other opportunities, you might see people exit out of those and, you know, try to jump into the next big thing.
Mhm. How do you feel when founders, like, they do raise a lot of money and then they build a house and take a mental health break? How do you feel
Yeah.
about that?
Yeah. Kind of wish I did that now, but you know, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it is tough to see. I think, you know, people that are raising money, you'd obviously like to see as much of that as possible getting reinvested back into the project, building a team, you know, and everything there. So it's, yeah, you know, I think that's tricky. It's like, you know, it's congrats on being able to min out and being able to have some of that success. But I think sometimes that's why, you know, it's tricky to jump into some of these projects with very high mint prices, or, you know, without proven or doxed founders, because it's like, you know, what have you done, or what have you proven for me to like be willing to invest and buy into this project and mint it? And then you do see some of that stuff happen, and it's like, well, I thought there was going to be a game, or, you know, secondary drops, or these other things, you know, that were promised on this roadmap that I bought into. And, you know, it's nice that you're moving and building a new house, but, like, you know,
A $4 million
yeah,
house.
yeah, what's the progress on the company? What's the progress on, you know, the project that I'm invested in? I know there's a lot of debates back and forth between, you know, VC funding coming into some of these projects now, and, like, you know, those investors having more upside than the NFT buyers and the NFT holders, you know. So, like, how do we start to see, you know, some of that value coming back to us? Like, we're investors technically in the project, but we're not really invested in the company that's, you know, building it. So it's,
Yeah.
you know, you could see the company do pretty well, and you could see investors do really well, but how does that trickle down to translate to us as holders who are buying the NFT? You know, how and when might we start to see some of those gains and utility and benefits of being invested in those projects? So it's yeah, tough when you see some of those stories, but yeah, I'm curious what you guys think about some of that too.
Yeah, so this was gonna probably go to either one of you, Ray. I was wondering, like, damn, I almost just lost what I was I was about to ask you. So these projects, does this make us as collectors just consumers,
Yeah,
or are we? Because at first I thought, you know, if you own a piece of these NFC, this 10K collection, you pretty much own a piece of this company, this project. But with the VC funding coming in and the floor prices not really moving, it seems like we're pretty much just consumers at this point. Like, how do you both feel about that?
yeah, for sure. I mean, when you're looking at, you know, these companies that are now operating with these projects, they've already extracted the revenue from their holders. And now they have this, they brought in additional funding from VCs because that wasn't enough. They have bigger plans. They're almost beholden to those VCs before they're beholden to their holders. I mean, obviously, they need to continue to have holders. They need to continue to have people supporting their project if they want their project to succeed. But I think a lot of these companies may have to, you know, answer to those VCs before they answer to the holders, which becomes tricky. I know one of our curators, Bitfloor Ghost, talked a bit about, you know, how do we get as holders opportunities to directly benefit from this investment? And he said, hey, you know what? Like, there is a system for this. You know, accredited investors can, you know, participate in some of this funding raise, Like, why not offer, hey, like, we're going to offer our holders who are, these people who are accredited investors to at least have a piece. That's a good starting point. It might not be perfect. Not everyone's an accredited investor. It's a pretty small band of people, but it's a good start. And it's a building block to providing more ownership to the actual holders of a project, which I think is very interesting.
Do you do you think it's off to ask the VC to just buy up the floor? Like, is that just only gonna award the holders as opposed to the team that just takes a little percent of that?
Yeah, I mean, if you're a team trying to raise money from a VC, like if you're telling them to do that, if that's the mechanism to jump in, hats off to you for giving up all that money. You're taking 2.5% or 5% of what you could have made in that scenario. I mean, you would have a lot of holder well-being. You would have a lot of people in your corner, but I don't think many founders are going to pass up that higher dollar value just for that. I think the cost of that well-being may be a bit less in their eyes.
Yeah, obviously, as holders or as consumers, yeah, I mean, you would love to see that, especially if it's going to be people who are buying up a good number of NFTs, and at that point, they'd be very incentivized to hold on to them for as long as possible. So they wouldn't be flipping. But yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting to find some balance of, yeah, they're going to invest X amount into the business because that's what benefits the founders and the creators, but then also trying to do a little bit so that it does benefit us as holders. I mean, I know some founders, they it's the hope is that it trickles down to us as NFT holders. The more money they have, the more they can build, the more they can deliver, hiring and everything else that they can kind of deliver on some of these plans and promises that are in place. And even like we said, with whether it's a game or a book or a movie or a TV show or a metaverse, all of these things definitely take time. So I think that's why a lot of people probably need to try to extend our time horizons out a bit more, but it's definitely tough in the moment and in the markets when you're looking at things. And it's like, if you're invested a little bit more, or, you're in over your head, you're going to, really want something to happen a lot sooner than later and not have the patience for some of this stuff to materialize and see it out, and then it's like, well, do I exit the project? If you need the money, if you need to kind of pay bills or, to actually fund your real life ventures, but then, 5 years from now, if some of this stuff comes together, it's going to be like, damn, I really wish I held on to all of that because, it did pay off. And I wish I had that longer time horizon in mind when I jumped in to begin with. Conversely, a lot of these projects could end up either rugging or going to zero, or some of their plans, I know a lot of projects are out there, with the intention to rug or scam, but there's others where it's just, you had plans, you put a team together and just things didn't work out, and those are tough too. And then it's like, well, then what do you do? Because then the founders are underwater, the NFT holders are underwater, and it's then it's not a good experience for anyone. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of factors at play, and it'll be interesting to see how some of the projects try to balance that as we're moving forward here. But I would like to see some of that kind of VC funding have more of an immediate impact or effect on holders, than it does right now.
That happened with one of my first projects I ever minted. Was like, they had good intentions, and then it wasn't to rug, but it totally was like it totally
Yeah,
was a
rug.
slow rug. It totally was a slow rug on accident. I guess just not
Accident, huh?
them not realizing everything that went on to their plan. They're still kind of around, but not really.
Yeah.
didn't even scratch the surface. But I don't know, this is an interesting concept in the NFT market, because like months feel like years, days feel like months. So like, we want now, like this Azra Gaming again it dropped yesterday. It's already at 0.4, but the game's not coming out until 2024. And like, they could do it. They have 44 people on their team. Almost all of them are doxxed. It probably takes more than 44 people to make a game, but you get my point. Like, they already have like an established team to do it. But 1 year, like who's going to be? I don't know if all those people are going to be holding on, waiting out a year, especially if ETH rises and that 0.4 ETH is now worth a lot more, and you have bills to pay or you want to do other stuff. So it's just a really interesting concept and interesting thing to think about, like not having instant gratification and on NFTs, but like having to wait it out.
Yeah, it is tough, and even with, like you guys said, I mean, with the space, I mean, so much changes, it's back July of last year, didn't know nearly anything that I know now, and then it was, from July, we made some decisions in January to kind of change the model and change the membership, and then made some, decisions again, over the past few weeks and months here. So it's like, I think a lot of us, it's like really just trying to learn, grow together, and make the best, most informed decisions we can with the information we have and from the experiences that we've had. And, I definitely feel and know that there's a lot of just real, true, proven, professional, builders that are here in the space and believe in everything that's happening. And it's, you have to try to keep that in mind, despite some of the rug pulls and despite some of the bad actors and the negative press and, some of that other stuff that does tend to happen almost daily in the space. But I think a lot of us are on, in the same boat where it's like, let's take everything we've learned over the past time frame and try to make the most and best informed decision we can today. And then, you might have to then reevaluate a few months down the road and say, hey, this is the decision we made, back in January, and it made sense at that time. After the market took the turn that it did now, maybe it doesn't make as much sense now. And then trying to use that information to make, the next decision, and, trying to factor in your needs as founders along with, the needs, the benefits, and the hopes of your holders, and, just try to do what you can to keep as many people happy as possible. But it's definitely challenging to do that.
In both your opinions, which one has a better upside, Doodles or Azukis?
What's your time frame?
As many time as you need, bro.
So, like, if you're investing over the next 2 months, I think Azuki, you'll have a better turnaround. If you're investing over the next 5 years, I think Doodles is the answer. So it depends on how long you want to hold it. Yeah.
5 years. Wow.
I agree.
Really? You agree, Chris?
I don't
thought
like
you was
Doodles.
bearish on Doodles.
I don't like Doodles or Azuki, but I agree with what he said. Doodles is creating a brand, and I do think Doodles is going to be around for the next 5 years. Azuki is more like community based. I mean, it's definitely not founder based. So like, although they're like raising funding and everything, I don't see Azuki doing as much as Doodles is going to be doing in the future.
Yeah, I think I share a similar point of view. I'm not super bullish on Doodles. I just think they have a better chance of lasting, and for the same reasons you said as well.
I mean, they just posted out job applications, and they're what do you call it? My mind's going blank, but their bar was pretty high. I mean, you needed degrees in the fields. You needed like 7 years, like for their marketing position, you needed like 7 years of experience, and you needed a marketing degree. For their graphic design position, you couldn't just be a graphic designer. You needed a degree in graphic design, and you needed this many plus years of experience. So like, if they're able to get all those and pay them what they deserve, I can see a bright future for them for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I know we talked a bit with our Doodles curator, K-Duck, kind of went over their hires. They made apparently an all-star hire in terms of like the manager of brand partnerships. Bobby Hundreds from Adam Bomb Squad was shooting him.
Wow.
It wasn't him, but like he was giving him the highest praise. I think I'm reading the quote now. Yeah. The quote,
the way you phrased that, I thought they got Bobby Hundreds.
I trailed off.
We got to clip that. We got to clip that. And share some fake propaganda.
Yeah, but we have a quote. He said, "Doodles just hired one of the smartest guys in streetwear." So getting that kind of praise from Bobby Hundreds is big.
Who's the guy? Do you know?
Brandon Rosenblatt. 12 years of experience with
familiar.
Fortune 500 brands, incubated, launched several apparel brands.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know
it
personally,
very,
but it sounded
familiar.
it sounded like a big time hire, and a lot of the people in the streetwear space are impressed by it. So part of that reason, that's why I think I'm a bit more bullish on Doodles in the long term. But I think there could be room for a good play on Azuki right now. To be honest, looking, they dipped a bit last Friday. I think people thought there was VC news coming. They were talking about the 23rd being a key date, but ended up just being another installation of their like Azuki world on their website. That VC news is still on the rise, and I don't think it's fully priced in right now. I might grab a couple beans over the next week or two ahead of a potential announcement. So definitely something I'm watching out for there.
So let me rephrase the question. So long term, Clone X or Doodles?
Clone X.
Yeah.
I think CloneX, I have the most. I think I have the most confidence in almost any company out there. I think they have such a head start with where they've been in terms of AR and partnership, and I think they've been working with Nike for a longer time than that official announcement was made. Having that backing, having the lead in technology, I think that they are going to be very successful. I think they're criminally undervalued. I would take a CloneX over any of those other assets for sure. But I don't
Really?
don't think it's something that you're gonna be able to flip very quickly as well. I think it's going to be a slow drip. It may be something that you're buying and then you're just getting airdrops. I know recently they said put a couple tweets out. They were deleted. They have a message in their Discord, but it's basically just said hint like hold your clones. So there may be something coming over the next few weeks. There.
Something's coming. Oh, that's nice. When the floor starts moving, insider trading already has begun. So I want to just pivot a little bit and ask you guys, because the merge just happened. ETH 2.0 is finally here. It was successful. What is your price prediction end of year? 10K ETH or what? No.
I don't know. It's so hard. I think we'll get back around 3,000 by the end of the year.
End of the year. Oh, that's 2 months from now, bro.
Yeah, I think we'll see.
Wow, that's pretty bullish.
Yeah,
What about you, Tom?
Yeah, I think you're a little bit more bullish than I am. I mean, just looking at, I almost think we could end up seeing a bit more red here to end out the year. I don't know, how some of these midterm elections might go. We have a few more rate hikes that are in store for us. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'll probably say 1250 maybe by the end of the year. I don't see it going up too much, and I could see it dipping quite a bit and then hopefully rebounding towards the end of the year and kind of climbing back up to 1250 and then hopefully continuing that trend into 2024.
I know you've talked about
2023. Sorry,
yeah,
I don't even know what year it is anymore.
Maybe 2024. I know you talked about it before in a Discord conversation, looking at the graph of ETH. You're like, hey, it looked kind of similar back in 2017 before it ran sideways for 3 years, where it kind of the graph shape, peaked a bit, had a small recovery and then just ran sideways for 3 years.
Yeah, if you take like a screenshot of that 2017 just before 2018 and you take a screenshot now, I mean, price is much higher now, but it has a similar kind of climbs and drops, and it's almost the same kind of shape there. And then yeah, I mean, it went sideways for like 2 or 3 years after that, and then we started to see the climb after COVID and last year. But it does look, at least, I'm not a chart expert, but just looking at it, it definitely looks the same. And I think the hope would be that the sideways movement isn't going to last multiple years at this point, and hopefully that's a bit shorter of a cycle. But yeah, I saw the comment come through about being a hater. I mean, I don't want to.
I highlighted that, bro. You're flooding our bags,
right.
bro.
I don't want to be
Maxis
a hater,
over here.
I just don't know, or I'm not sure what the event is or what the catalyst is going to be to turn that around here in the shorter term, considering that the macroeconomics and everything that's going on there. It's just if that's going to last much longer, I don't see crypto and some of these other risk assets turning around anytime soon, and I definitely hope I'm wrong, because I'm as invested in ETH as anyone else, really. So yeah, it's I hope that's not the case, but just sometimes have to try to be a realist, and just
you have to, but not on this show, bro.
right. Only only good news.
10K ETH by the end of the year is what we're selling over here.
Yeah, I'm bearish as well. But I find a hard time comparing it to 2017, 2018, because there's bigger players that care about the space now, like that weren't there. Like we were just mentioning, like Nike, being in the space. Disney's making an accelerator program. Starbucks is doing a loyalty program. Now, while those are on Polygon, I'm just saying the idea of crypto and NFTs, like, although it was like kind of a negative thing with Apple adding the 30% fees, which by the way does affect DraftKings. I think I heard Ray say that he used to be in DraftKings. I think DraftKings ended up not accepting via mobile anymore for payments. There's just too much like big players entering the space for me to be like, oh, this is going to trade sideways for like the next 2 years, like nobody has a magic ball that can determine the macro conditions to where, people are capable to invest. But again, unless like macro conditions just continue to get crushed, I find like fundamentals and I find like player who's entering the space, I find it hard to compare because like it was a lot. My opinion is it was more built on hopium back on 2017 and 2018 that things would be adopted. Now it's not really hopium. It's kind of like coming into fruition. I mean, you have multi-billion-dollar, you have Fortune 500 companies entering the space. So it's not hopium. It's there. But again, like you can't force macro conditions to be ideal, and nobody knows that. So, but as far as the end of the year, I'm bearish. I think we're going to stay around where we're at or even go lower. But
Yeah.
we'll just see how it
Lower,
goes.
Chris? Oh man, you're bullish on the Palm Network, and you're gonna come out here and say you want E3 lower, or you
I'm
think
with
it's
Mike
gonna be
Track.
lower?
Do you have a Boo soundtrack or a mic track? Yeah, you gotta get it.
Yeah. Tom just called 1200 as well. Now he's piling on.
Yeah.
I have a sad one. That's as much as it gets. But no, man. Well, we'll have to see what happens. We're like 2 months away though, so we're not too far from end of year. Are you guys looking at any?
I do have a question for Thomas, real quick. So I heard earlier that you got a good Moonbird stack. I got kind of like a layered question. So like, are you still bullish on Moonbirds in their future? And how was I know this is kind of old news now, but how was the CCO announcement for you as a holder?
Yeah, great questions. I definitely think I am certainly still bullish on Moonbirds, on everything that's going on with Proof. I do think it's one of those things where, even being in their Discord and seeing the amount of people and the hiring that they've done and, building an office and trying to, relocate to have the team together. I mean, all of those things are good signs. And like we saw and what we just talked about with Doodles, like it takes time to establish the plans, to hire people, to bring them in, to kind of onboard them and get them up to speed. So, I mean, I'm definitely still very bullish and excited. I do think it's one of those where the time horizon is something where, I didn't buy them and didn't build up the bag that I did because I thought it was going to have an immediate, return or impact within a few months or even a year or two. But at the same time, I do feel like I was a bit over invested. I did jump in a bit high on some of them, when things were kind of pushing and pumping to that like 30, 40 ETH floor, where it was like, at that time, I probably should have trimmed the bag, assumed that there was going to be a drop, and then jumped in a bit more like now that the prices are a bit deflated. So, I mean, they're definitely a project right now that I'm looking at where, I can definitely cut a loss and possibly book some losses on the tax year, and then, potentially buy back in. Those are definitely some of the assets I'm looking at where it's, just take the L right now. I'm probably a bit over invested from where I need to be with that project. And would still, even if I sold off a few of them, would still have a lot of exposure to the ecosystem. So it's something I'm definitely looking to trim. On the CCO front, I mean, I think the way it was communicated was definitely something I feel not as great about compared to the announcement itself. I mean, I'm hoping it's one of those scenarios where, certainly a lot of bad kind of actors could come in and do things with the IP now and do things with the art, but my hope is that it's more of a rising tide situation where, it does let anyone try to come in and potentially build upon, using those assets and see what comes out of the Moonbirds DAO, what they're able to potentially establish and build there. So I know a lot of people weren't happy with the way that was announced, and it's definitely tricky for someone who maybe, I bought a golden bird, like, I wasn't actually intending on licensing it out, but it's definitely something where I could have done that or could have explored options there. So it's, but I think with a lot of these projects, I mean, that's usually very low on my list when I'm thinking of whether I want to buy into a project or not is, can I license this out? But it's definitely a cool added benefit or perk. But, how many people are actually doing that with projects you can license out? How successful are some of those things? And, are you?
Yeah,
he is.
I do that with every project.
That's awesome.
I own a coffee shop and I roast coffee for a living. So like
Okay.
most of my projects I buy, if I have the rights to it, I put it on my coffee bags. So like
That's
that
awesome.
would have been like a significant thing for me.
Yeah.
With if I owned a Moonbird and I wanted to market Moonbergs on my coffee bags. Thankfully, I didn't go into something that large, but yeah,
Yeah.
on a much smaller scale, it is something I consider every single time I'm going into a project.
Well, you wouldn't be prevented from doing that. You can
No,
just
but anybody
wouldn't have
could do it.
exclusive rights. Yeah.
Yeah. I like it. I like my bags personally to be like I have the rights, the only one that has the rights to distribute this bag. But but that's a much smaller scale than some of the other things. Like what is it? Seth Green using his ape in his movie. That
Yeah, the
that's a
show.
larger scale. That's a larger scale of what it could be used as. I'm way lower on the scale, but it is something I consider when I'm buying into projects. I was disappointed when I found out. I should have known this before, and I'm okay with supporting it anyways. But I bought a VFriend Series 2, and you actually do not have exclusive IP rights to VFriends. Gary has the rights. So yeah,
Gary has
yeah,
the rights.
yeah. So like you actually can't license that out. I was a little disappointed when I found that out. I even got my little box behind me.
I
But,
saw that. I saw that back there.
bring me. Oh well, Gary's still gonna bring us to the moon, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
Tom,
feel
we're
like
gonna use your
my thought.
Moonbirds, bro.
That's fine. Yeah.
I gotta put
Clemente
some
could use
golden
it.
bird. I gotta put some of those golden birds on some of my coffee bags.
Yeah.
Tom's birds.
Yep. Yeah. Right. I feel like that's a situation where like, individuals have more benefits or perks possibly beyond, those rights where, if anyone could build something on top of a brand or using my bird or another bird that they like, does that elevate all holders? Does that bring more awareness to the project as a whole, which in turn has like second and third order effects and benefits, to going that route and into taking that approach. So I think CC0 is just, it's still kind of, I mean, it's not a new concept, but I think it's new in this space to try to see, it's just one more of those things where it's like we feel very strongly about that decision now, but how might we feel a few months from now or a few years from now? And it's just one of those where in the short term, we know how people felt about it. We saw what happened to the floor. We saw kind of the overwhelming response to that decision. But do we look back a few years from now and say, that was the right call, or that did make a lot of sense? I'm really glad they went in that direction. But it's hard to know now and in the moment. And obviously hindsight will make it really clear for us a few years from now, whether it was the right decision or not.
Okay, we are running out an hour. I just have one quick question for both of you. Do you guys have what's your sleeper NFT that you're watching that people are not really paying attention to right now? Do you guys have that, or are you gonna share that, or?
I mean, I think in terms of trading strategy, I didn't really bring this up, and I think it's something you can capitalize on is lack of patience in the NFT space. So that kind of goes hand in hand here. Like I'm looking, we were just talking about proof, and Clemente in the audience called it. Like I'm watching Moonbirds. If they dip below 1 ETH, I'm looking as a buy. Like their utility hasn't changed. Like, and the way they have the mythic bird structured for next year, like it seems like if you have an oddity, you're going to be guaranteed to get one of those, but through their burning mechanism. That hasn't changed. We haven't heard any news there. There just is less attention, and because of that less attention, we've seen the floor price go down. Listings haven't ran at all. They're hovering steady in the low 400s. Floor prices slowly traded sideways, going down a bit over the last week or so. Could be a good play. One I'm watching for sure, and trying to identify more of these patience plays. Someone brought to my attention the Foish's paint drop months ago, and they said like, "Hey, this is going to be
I've
something
been watching that.
That's just gonna be something that's gonna pop. Like just give it time. And then over the last 2 weeks, we've seen it run. So, a lot of these plays where, there's dedicated teams behind them, something's coming out in the future, but you might not be able to capitalize on it now. If you're going to have a bit of ETH to park there in that project, it could, be beneficial in the long run.
Yeah,
I think that's why it's so important
one.
to, yeah. As I say, that's why I think it's just so important to try to stay liquid and then try to have some conviction there. I mean, everything we're saying, everything we're talking about here, those of us, including myself, and probably you guys too, like, lack of patience. I mean, that's great way to put it there, Ray. It's like, if everyone has that same kind of mindset, and we know people don't have patience and everything else, we know, that they're going to be selling their bags and not wanting to see some of this stuff through, whether it be Doodles or CloneX or Proof, or even Azuki. That's kind of why, I was saying I do think it's best to try to stay liquid, because, as each month goes by, as potentially the macro gets worse, and we get towards the end of the year, and people trying to do things with their bags ahead of, next year, and factoring in this tax season, there could be really nice buying opportunities that are available there. So I think the best play at the moment is probably just try to continue to stack ETH, try to stay on the sidelines. And, if prices continue to drop, and you still have conviction in some of those projects, just then deploying it at that point. It's just, when is the bottom? It's always, if we could truly time that and know that, I mean, I think we'd all probably wouldn't be on this podcast right now, on this live stream right now.
We'd be on the yacht, bro.
Exactly. So, it's always tough to time that bottom or time when that is. But I do think, if we think things might continue to get worse, I think the play is to just kind of hold strong and then, make high conviction plays with ETH you've been stacking, when you do see an even better buying opportunity for some of those projects. So, yeah, it's probably,
so you do think things are going to continue to get worse?
I think, yeah, I mean, we kind of said that a little bit on the ETH side, and, and if ETH goes down, do we think the ETH price of projects go up? We've occasionally seen that in the past, but we've also seen when ETH is really volatile, then NFT prices tend to go down as well. So, I think it'll depend on how some of these projects, can they keep our interest? Can they keep having live streams, providing updates, really giving us those breadcrumbs to at least keep some of the buzz and excitement going. And then it's a matter of, well, then can they stick the landing, or can they make sure that they are exceeding those expectations, or meeting the expectations at least. I think that's the tough part with some of these projects, where you have some projects that don't communicate enough. You might have other projects that are communicating too much, and then the projects that aren't really communicating or providing updates, it leaves everyone in the dark. And then you start to see, people start to sell off because they get scared because they don't know, what's going on. And then you have other projects that, maybe providing a lot of updates, but they're smaller. Each update that's providing isn't going to be a big hitter because they are providing those incremental updates along the way. And that just kind of leads and opens the opportunity to people possibly being disappointed, because the expectations were a little bit higher. So, and it's always tricky trying to balance the excitement of founders or people that are working on the team, with investors, collectors, and holders. And, but yeah, it looks like Ray's pulling up some charts here. It looks like the oddities.
Oh no, I just pulled it up real quick.
Just okay,
because we're running out the hour. I wanted you guys to let the audience know where to go to get the WGMI, like the website and everything, all the details. You want to let them know?
Yeah,
Yeah, sure.
absolutely.
So yeah, Ray's got it up.
Yeah, WGMI.io is our landing page. It shows some of our features, some of testimonials from big names in the space who use us.
There's Zeneca on there?
Oh yeah. Tom was on with Zeneca on a podcast. He was on with Kevin Rose as well.
Oh, nice. Sneaky Ninja. Oh, wow. Okay. You needed us on there, bro.
Yeah, we
got some great things to say.
We need to get yours. We have some good clips from the show. I'll take some of them, add you on here. But it has a list of all of our features, all that information. You can mint right from the page for the beta NFT here. And then, you can access our different features from this page. You can launch the dashboard, load your portfolio page, all right from this homepage. Once you get that access, you'll have access to all of our tooling.
And they need an NFT to get access right now, or a subscription?
Yes, correct. The NFT is the only way to get access to all of our features. When we switched over to the NFT, we stopped our subscription service, so that all access pass is the key right now to enter in.
Well, the Kansas, we are partnered with them. So since you do have a lifetime license, you won a lifetime license a few months ago. You do have access for about 14 days to try everything out. Make sure to go ahead and do that, man. It's a very useful tool. Like I literally use it almost every single day. The tab is up right now. I'm looking at some crap to dump. Looking for something that's moving right now that I want to dump right now, but it doesn't look like anything is moving, bro.
Yeah, dude, that's the best feeling when you have something and you have a lot of and you need to dump it. Just you do you sell right from the site too? You know, you can just
Yeah,
mass
yeah,
list
actually,
everything. That's one of my
yeah,
favorite feelings, being like, all right, it's running, I'm dumping everything, sign all those transactions and let's go.
Dang, man. I didn't know any of that.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
good.
I also sometimes I hit that little square and it takes me to OpenSea or another spot just so I could check it, make sure before I do post it.
Yep,
Like,
absolutely.
The screen Ray has up now, you could you could set all listings to the same price, or you have the undercut
Wow.
by.
I've never seen this screen right here.
So I'll
Is
usually
this
do like
new?
undercut by 0.001, and then you could set listing prices across all of those. So yeah, it'll set the listing price based on the trade floor. Yeah, Ray
Ray,
does
you
do
just got you
solid.
just got called
Breaking
out, bro.
news.
Oh, cool, man. That's
I think we're gonna end the show with that.
Yeah,
I think that's a good way to conclude.
yeah, buy properties.
Uh, thank you guys so much for joining us, man. We really, really appreciate this, man. You're always welcome to come through at any time, of course. Yeah. Again, make sure to visit wgmi.io. Get your pass. It's a very, very useful tool. I use it. Literally use it. Thanks to Tom for hooking us up the first time it was here. I also got the pass too. I got the NFT because it was so useful. I just had to get it. So, Chris, you have any more stuff to say?
I think that's about it. This wraps up, obviously, our shows for the week. Next Monday is the big one because we're going to be giving away that free trial for 6 months to one of our subscribers. So if you're watching this video, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you have a chance at that. I'm still kind of laughing at that last comment with breaking news. Ray wants to use his followers. So yeah, be sure to buy Clone X's and wait until Ray loads up on some beans, and then I'll make a video about it. No, I'm just playing. It was great to have you guys on today. Ray, it was good to meet you. Thomas, it was good to see you again. We talked about this a little
Yes.
bit before, but our show was the first time Thomas like fully doxed himself, so that was really
Yeah,
cool.
I
And
remember that.
now he's like a content creator. He's making his
I
own
know,
content,
right?
putting it out there. So definitely need to go check out you guys' show. We need to do more collabs in the future. It's really been a joy. Anytime you guys, I can speak for myself. Anytime you guys want to have me on, I'll come on. I'm sure Ken would be happy to join as
Same.
well. So anyways, thank you everybody. We will see you guys next Monday. Hope everybody has a great weekend and peace out.